to hire. The tech industry, some, need employees that don't really get paid all that much, and the value of the employee, whether or not you're indispensable or not. If you're more indispensable, then you're going to get paid more, obviously. External factor would be the current economic state. Cost of living is something to consider. If you're living out in the middle of nowhere, it's probably, like down south, doesn't cost that much to live there, but, in urban areas it costs more. And also inflation, that has a big effect on compensation. Pay should be structured like, job evaluations are useful to figure out how exactly you want to structure pay. A lot of companies use a job ranking system where each job is ranked according to less importance to more importance. Some companies use paired compensation where each job is scored and then you tally the scores to see how important each job is. 0 being less important, 1 being the same important, 2 being more important, as you can see from this chart here, how they calculated that. Pay grading is where you set a pay scale. There's averages there, as you can see. The lines are the average, so you can either get plus, above or below that, and they're ranked accordingly. So you can kind of know where it is you're going. Other considerations are skill-based compensation, where they decide what to pay you based on what skills you bring to the company. Competency-based, where it's based on your traits or characteristics. Broad-banding, which is essentially where you just group employees and pay them a certain amount based on what they do. And variable pay systems, which is just on individual case basis. Types of pay, there's a salary, which is a fixed amount. It's paid bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly. Hourly wage, which is just based upon how many hours you work. And piecework system, where you're based off of how much output you bring to the company. Commission plans, where you may or may not get a salary, but the sales and stuff like that, you receive extra money based upon that. Bonus plans, where you can receive a bonus based on your performance. Profit sharing, where you get a salary, but you also get a portion of the profits earned by a company. And stock options, where for a particular rate you can buy stock in the company. There's some legal requirements on the state and federal level. Minimum wage is obviously one. I believe it's $7.25 on the federal level. New Jersey, I believe it's $8.50. Taxes, which we all pay. And there's some restrictions on executive compensation, which is pretty controversial. And to relate this to our company, at a grocery store, most workers are low-skilled workers, so the wages are pretty low, turnover is pretty high. You pay basically on an hourly rate, and that's basically all I have to say about compensation. There's a whole lot more to it I obviously couldn't really get into, but what goes hand in hand with this is benefits, and Matt DeSuma will be talking about that next.
Hi, my name is Matt DeSuma. Today I'm going to be talking about benefits. They're a form of compensation, and generally they're indirect and non-cash compensation employees receive. They're very important for a company just to stay on top of things and attract employees. Why have benefits? To start things off, benefits are required by law. I'll go over those on one of the next slides. They also increase productivity and add motivation to employees. Benefits are also like what keep employees around and attract new employees. Alright, benefits are subject to regulation by the government, the ones that are required by law, such as Social Security, workers' compensation, unemployment insurance, health care, and family and medical leave. I don't know why it's kind of messed up. Let me sunk the paragraph. To start things off, Social Security is a mandatory payroll tax on employers and employees. It's designed to provide basic needs to U.S. citizens that are unemployed or employed. Typically, it's about 6.2%, I think, on employees and employers, and 12.4% together. Workers' compensation is a financial support system to provide for workers who get an illness or injury from work. For instance, if you were to get hurt on the job, like your employer can't just leave you there without money or without anything, and you're just out of luck with everything. Unemployment insurance is a federally mandated program. It pretty much reduces unemployment hardships, but not everyone can just automatically get it. You have to apply for it, and you also have to meet the regulations. You can't just be someone just sitting on the street corner just looking to get free money. You have to be actively looking for a job. Unpaid family and medical leave. It began with the Family Medical Leave Act. Pretty much organizations of 50 plus employees must follow this. They must offer up to 12 weeks of unpaid family leave if you qualify. Pretty much if someone just gets hurt in your family, or you have to care for them, you can leave work and come back to a similar job or the same one. Life insurance protects everyone. It depends on your paycheck, which is usually your family. Some employers provide life insurance and some do a group discounts. And next is retirement plan. They're optional to provide but are very nice to have. There's two different basic types, which are contributory plans, which are funded by employers and employee contributions, and non-contributionary plans, which are funded by employers and contributions. One very common one would be a 401k plan, which a lot of people offer. Medical benefits are one of the most expensive forms of benefits, and there's a wide variety of them. They include disability insurance, vision, dental and health benefits, and pretty much it's just very nice to have because, as you know, it takes a lot of money out of your pocket to have all those benefits. So if your company can provide them, it's good to have. Disability insurance offers income protection to employees who become disabled. Two types of disability insurance is short-term and long-term. Short-term, it helps protect your salary for about 6 months, while long-term helps protect you for a long period of time. Paid leave is optional for employers to give. It's pretty much like vacation time or a certain amount that you were given, but it's not necessarily have to be given, but usually you can get, employers will give you a couple of weeks off or something like that where you can still go do your thing and go to holidays or vacations with your family. Vesting occurs when an employee acquires ownership. It has to do with retirement plans and pension plans, except you actually develop money over time through it, and pretty much you keep that. If you were to even leave the company or get fired or something, that what's already been vested you keep. Some additional common benefits are over time employers have developed different ways to attract employees, and some other benefits would be tuition reimbursement, relocation, healthcare services. For instance, with me, I had an internship with a medical sales company, and they talked to me about potentially getting tuition reimbursement if I were to work for them full time eventually, if I can go for my master's. Our company is a grocery store, and some background information is there's a lot of grocery stores out there, and it's a very competitive environment, so benefits are a really good way to make grocery stores stand out. Our company's goals regarding benefits, we want for most companies regarding ours and anyone else's, you really want to stand out. Having them will keep employees around and increase motivation and productivity to get employees to their best potential. Because as you know, grocery stores might not be the most exciting place to work, so it really helps people give them a spark and an edge on their work. Selecting the right benefits is huge because it's very important to maintain, and you have to take companies' goals into account while taking cost, because they can be very expensive, as I went over before. And for a grocery store, it might not be in the budget to provide an exterior amount that you would at a bigger company. Communicating benefits is very important because without communication, no one would really know what's going on, and you wouldn't be able to attract future or even current employees to stay with the company. And it also adds more motivation because they actually are redirected with what type of benefits they have. Benefits that we would provide if we were starting a grocery store, or just a top of the line one, I looked up multiple grocery stores and see what they provide, would be vacation time and 7 paid holidays, short and long-term disability insurance, prescription coverage, possible 401k plans, and discount on products. A recap would be generally benefits are indirect and non-cash compensation employees receive, and some benefits are required by law and they're very expensive to provide. And benefits are an important part of a company and they are complex and they're a good way to make your company stand out. Next is performance with Andrew.
Hi guys, my name is Andrew, like you said, and I'll talk about performance. So some things that influence poor performance are career goals not being met, and this could be due to unfairness in the workplace and lack of management support. So if you're not happy with the environment in which you're working, you're not going to be very productive. So types of performance issues. So types of performance issues are you could be late or leave early, and also inappropriate behavior and family issues can be very distracting in the workplace because they could drag you away from your work and you won't be as productive as you can. So discipline is defined as the process that corrects undesirable behavior, and the purpose of disciplinary actions are not to punish employees but to meet expectations and help them improve at their job. And John Ron once said that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments, and I strongly believe in that. An effective discipline process is usually in the form of a written document, and it includes a list of rules and procedures. And these rules and procedures are usually related to safety and productivity. And just like you guys all know, that safety is one of the most important things in a company. So the discipline process is basically a list of do's and don'ts in an organization. So at orientation, the employer would lay out the rules and expectations of the job, and they can also revise rules if they need be. So the performance issue model is used for developing performance policies and is the best way to provide fairness and consistency when dealing with conflict in the workplace. And it usually leads to disciplinary intervention. So the first is a mandated issue, and this is the most serious of all the issues because these are usually the issues that violate privacy laws and violate safety procedures. And these kind of issues need to be addressed as soon as possible to prevent them from creating more problems. So the next one is a single incident, and this is a little less serious than the mandated, but is still needs to be attended to, and is often when an employee misspeaks and offends a colleague, or they're late in getting in a project or over budget on a project, and a casual conversation can solve this. So after that is a behavior pattern, and this is when single instances don't stop and they keep reoccurring. So in behavioral, they may not even realize that they're still doing something wrong. So that's why you have to take them and talk to them again and explain to them what's expected. And if it keeps happening, this is called persistent pattern. It's already after they've been corrected for the behavior pattern. And the employer has to let the employee know that this is serious and needs to stop, or documentation will occur if it keeps persisting. So an investigation of performance issues. It's very necessary to investigate before you document someone. So you need to write down the date, the time, and the location of the incident that occurred, and notes on a conversation between the employee and employer must be presented. Also, the next steps taken if an employee commits the same infraction also have to be included in the documentation, and also the restatement of expectations for the employee. And after this is all done, both the employee and the manager must sign it to make sure everything is understood. So options for handling performance issues. After something happens once, an unofficial verbal warning is the first step. And then if it happens again, the second offense, it's a official written warning, and then the employee gets documented. And the third offense, there's a second talking to, and they get documented again. So if the offenses keep continuing, after the fourth offense is possible suspension or other punishment, and after the fifth offense, the employee can be terminated. So I created some hypothetical situations for our grocery store, and